This is going to be such an expansive, transformative masterclass. Now, the thing that really inspired me to share this is, oh, good, and Fran is here too. The thing that really inspired me to share this is I was talking with my mastermind students. This was week 7 of my last mastermind, which was just a 7-week program. And I started to talk about the things that had really made the biggest shift and the biggest transformations for me inside my business. And they were all finding it really, really valuable because what I did is I really looked at the strategy shifts and the mindset shifts. And I'm going to just share the top 3 strategy and the top 3 mindset shifts here today. There's like actually quite a few more. There's probably double that I could like really narrow down and really hone in on what has transformed my online business. And I know that like all of the women in the room and the women that are watching inside the group are very specifically soul-led entrepreneurs. They're soul-led leaders. They're leading from a place of heart, a place of having a real vision, a vision that doesn't always fit into a mold, doesn't always fit into a cookie cutter recipe, and doesn't always fit into maybe a strategy that can also feel a little bit cookie cutter. So today I'm going to be sharing all 6 shifts, but first I'm just going to like introduce myself. I'm Hillary. I help you create a life of freedom and abundance using your soul gifts. I've been an online entrepreneur now for more than 5 years. Actually, maybe a little closer to 10 if you count the blogs that I started sharing about a decade ago and became really really had a lot of fun with and really a lot of exposure from, and helped me build up my mailing list. Um, I felt inspired to share these shifts with you, as I said, because I shared them with my mastermind clients. So this is like a little peek behind the scenes of the mastermind. I don't always give master classes inside of that. A lot of time we work like one-on-one direct coaching, things that people are working on. But what really has been on my heart is that these are shifts that will help you blow up your business without feeling burned out, without the feeling that you are hustling, that you're on a hamster wheel of hustling, or that you're like really leaning into stress. So I know that in Western culture, a lot of us have been taught that stress is a way to thrive, right? We all thrive through stress. Stress is a way to like make our manifestations happen, or a way to make things to expand faster. And what I find is that's like the opposite of what has actually helped me to grow an aligned business. And I can look back at recordings that I did maybe like even 3 years ago, and I can tell that I was living in a lot more hustle and a lot more stress than the way that I'm doing my business now. So that's what inspired me to share this now. I also think it's like a perfect timing because we're stepping into 2024. We're stepping into the new year. We have, as one of my clients was sharing with me on Tuesday, we have the Lion or the 1212 portal, which is a really powerful portal for manifestation. She was sharing this inside of intuitive manifesting, which is my new course. And I'm just going to tell you a little bit about where I was 5 years ago. 5 years ago, I had built out a private coaching business, and it was mostly in person. I was also leading a ton of in-person workshops. So I became like really, really successful and was thriving. And I was making the money that I wanted to make, giving my in-person private coaching and then my workshops. But I knew that I was ready to take my business online because I wanted to basically reach more people, and I wanted to have more time freedom. I really wanted that time freedom. So I knew that if I could reach more people, I would have more freedom because my one-on-one practice was completely booked out. And I was driving all around the city of Los Angeles. So I live in Los Angeles. It's quite a spread out city. And I really wanted to not be spending 4 hours, that's an exaggeration, but just going to one client sometimes could take me a round trip 4 hours basically. So I knew I wanted to free up my time. And I also love to travel. I travel internationally. We take trips to India. So I knew I wanted location independent so I could work from anywhere. So at that point, I first put out my first online course. It was teaching something that I knew really, really well, which is profitable workshops. It was called Profit from Workshops. And I taught other experts how to take their workshops and how to host them online. Then the pandemic hit and I started running group program after group program. I had my Profit from Workshops course. I had an Intro to Natural Dyeing course, which is some of the private art stuff that I had been doing. And I started just running group after group after group. And my groups were really profitable. Some of the groups were making like 20K each time they ran. Okay. And it's that moment when you have the thing that everybody's wanting. So I was in that real, from a business perspective, I was really in that position to kind of skyrocket then because I already had the workshops and then everybody wanted everything online. So I was in that right positioning and I let myself just get completely swept up in it. And if that's one advice that I can give you is just let yourself get completely swept up in the current of what you're doing. Because when that happens, you might get a little bit lost in that current, which is what happened to me, but you will find your way back to your center, to exactly where you need to be during this time, because I had so much momentum and so many incredible things were dropping in, incredible things were happening, I knew that I wanted to invest in these different high ticket programs. So that's when I started investing in high ticket and learning from these different high ticket coaches after finding that initial success. And these programs did help me to more deeply understand the online space. It gave me a real perspective of what people are doing, what people are teaching, some of the different strategies, some of the different tactics. And it also taught me from contrast. I really, really got to learn what is in alignment for me. And that's what kind of helped me to zoom out with my latest group of mastermind visionaries, because I want them to have the biggest impact and the most success in their business. And so what I realized being in these different programs is I was kind of hustling a lot and I was following some of the things that weren't completely in alignment for me. So I'll talk about what was in alignment because a lot of things did work, and I'll talk about that in the 6 shifts that I'm going to share. That's like a little bit of a tongue twister. But I started to integrate all the lessons and all the learnings from the online space, and I shifted back into alignment. And I actually discovered my genius is helping visionaries create a life and business that is so beyond the cookie cutter recipes and the cookie cutter programs. I rebuilt my business to allow more freedom, more aligned clients, more expansion, and I started offering international retreats, which is something that was just seriously on my heart and in alignment for me. And again, at a time when people are like really craving and wanting to get back and do things in person. So, how perfect that I get to travel now the world and I get to experience things with other visionaries who are creating and manifesting the life and business of their dreams. So, some of what has worked for me in this masterclass, the 6 key shifts that I'm going to share right now that blew up my business, some of the things have worked for me since the very beginning, and some are really discoveries that I've made along the journey that I want to share with you. And then I'd love it, just to give you an idea on time. Actually, have a client on the hour at 10 a.m. Pacific. So I'll try to stop a little bit before, and I'd love to hear your biggest takeaway or perhaps a shift that's like really something that you want to dig deeper in and go a little bit more into. So I'd love to hear like what's resonating with you. Now, I haven't been keeping an eye on the Facebook group, but if you are in the Facebook group and you're watching this live, I would love it if you would give me a hashtag live. You could even drop the city that you're in. You can do the same thing in the comment here, in the chat here. But the reason that we do that is so that more people in the group can get a notification of this. And as I mentioned, I'm only going to be leaving this up in the group for about 5 days. It is a really special masterclass. I am going to make this a paid workshop. So it's going to become like an $88 workshop at the end of this week. So if you are watching it live or you're watching the replay, just tag it so that the most people in the group can see it before I decide to make it paid, which will happen sometime next week. So if you have ever felt like you were listening to all of the outside voices, all of the people that are telling you that they can niche you, that they know your niche, they know what niche you're in, I really want you to know that all of these people are here for you to support you, and they are simply guides. So only you truly know how you're going to bring all of your multidimensional gifts together. Only you truly know how you're going to weave the beautiful tapestry of your business. And only you get to decide. And that is this process of really tuning in and listening to your inner guidance and getting really super grounded to find out what you want to do next. And that's a lot what I do with my clients. We really figure out what is it that is in alignment and what are those next steps to call in this greater vision or this bigger vision. So some of the things that you might be feeling right now is you might be feeling like you're really ready to expand, you're ready to be more supported, you're ready to, sorry, my nose is, you're ready to step into more authenticity and expression to start to really manifest your dream reality. And maybe you're even trying to follow these complex programs or these complicated approaches that maybe you've invested in, and then like the actual win is so far delayed that you're not even sure if it's ever actually really going to work for you, because you're not sure right now if that method or that way is in alignment for you. And I'm literally speaking out of embodied truth because I have tried a lot of different approaches. And to be honest, some clicked and some didn't click. Some didn't really align for me or work out for me. Some of the different maybe methodologies, right? And then some worked really, really well. So if you are tired of hearing from people that don't have maybe the multidimensional background, they don't have the same way of being as you, it can feel like you are receiving advice from someone who has never been in your shoes. So if you're empathetic, if you're intuitive, if you're visionary, if you're creative, if you're multidimensional, um, then these are the 6 shifts that I think you're going to really love and you're going to really appreciate. So if you're ready to tap into like more creative freedom, more of a freedom lifestyle, and to go out of the box and find more joy in what you're creating, because that's really something that happened to me. I started to not have fun with it anymore. I started to not find the joy because I was trying to do these one size fits all approaches. And it was like putting a bird in a cage or in a box. It just didn't work for me. So at the end of this training, my hope is that you'll feel even more confident, even more successful to blaze your own trail and to go out there and really have the impact that you want to have in the world. So, let me dive first into the strategy shifts. I really debated if I wanted to start with strategy or if I wanted to start with mindset, because they're both so powerful. And my coaching is a pure blend of mindset and strategy. I'm like the weirdest person. My brain is so creative and so intuitive and so artistic. But then the other side of me, like I can't turn off the business mind. I literally cannot turn it off. So when you work with me, You get the intuitive side, the creative side, but you also get the strategy and the business mind. And often it's like really out of the box strategy. So the 6 shifts that I'm going to delve deeper into. The first one that I want to talk about is finding your best-selling offer. This is important. What do you want to sell? And this is like for sustainability and longevity in your business to really propel your business into the quantum realm. So the first thing is, what is that bestseller? Now, for me, it was my workshop that I offered over and over again. And then it was my one-on-one private, and then it became my course. Then it even at one point was products that I was selling over and over again. But the reason you want to know your bestseller is because if you have your best-selling offer that you can sell on repeat every single month, then you will have monthly recurring revenue, which will make you be in business for the long term. Now, it's completely up to you what you want your best-selling offer to be, and it's also up to the market to validate that offer, to help you realize how you can tweak and position and create and sculpt and make that offer something that just sells easily over and over again. Now, in the course of my decade, more than a decade as an entrepreneur, I've had many best-selling offers. And I was telling my mastermind clients that there comes a time when you can take that bestseller and you can leave it behind. But what you want to do is you want to continue selling that bestseller over and over and over again for as long as you possibly can, so that you are profitable and you know that you stay in business. And then you can add other things in that might really interest you or that you might really want to sell. So, one thing that I do with my clients is we figure out the best sellers and we know what they're going to sell every month on repeat, and they put those offers out there again and again. Okay. The second one that's a strategy, that is a strategy shift, is after some time, I realized that my way of being in the world is so unique that I stopped following the big gurus that have the huge followings, even though I loved learning from them. I loved their wisdom. And I started using their strategies as complements, like as an accessory to the things that were already working for me. So if there's something that felt really aligned that I learned from investing, then what I did is I took that strategy and I started catering it and I started customizing it to my business. So those big guru strategies became accessories. They became like tools in a toolbox that were like complements to my core program, which is all about following intuition and finding the most aligned strategies. So I definitely use the strategies, but I also don't like to enroll anymore in things where I'm one of like 40 people in a big room. It's just so not me, because I find that my business, which is really customized, I get better advice in smaller containers from fantastic coaches that have amazing wisdom and insights. So I really just hire coaches that resonate with me now. And if I'm in a smaller room, I really like that because I get more attention and I know that I'm responsible for getting the results in my business. So I know that I'll take whatever I'm learning, I will apply it, and I will go out there and get results. So that's number two. I stopped following the cookie cutter approaches, I guess would be the best way to say it. And I started to tailor those approaches to my business. And you might already be doing that, or you might be thinking about, how can I take this broad approach and how can I apply it and make it something custom and something really that works for me? And that's what I started doing. So those approaches really helped my business ultimately. And now when I get guidance and when I invest in guidance, I invest in like one-on-one or small group support so that I know that I'm getting the attention that I really need and the eyes on my business from somebody who's really invested in me, who's invested in the relationship with me. Number three, I mastered organic marketing, and I found an aligned marketing strategy that really worked for me. So, as I mentioned, over the years, especially when I was first starting out, I wanted to find out what some of the best online marketing strategies are. And what they come down to is, do you have a way that you really like to share your offers? Are you visible? If you know, one of my master classes that I aired for a long time was called Visible and Abundant. And everybody used to get scared because I was like asking them to be more and more visible. But visibility is a big part of showing up online. But how you do that, the way that you do that, the way that resonates for you is going to be the key to unlocking your magnetism and your visibility. Because if you are trying to do a marketing strategy that doesn't really align with the way that you like to do things, then you're going to have a lot of resistance, like I did. I felt a lot of resistance around the strategies that just didn't really resonate. Another question you could ask yourself when you're kind of looking at your organic marketing is, do people know exactly how to buy from you? So, do people know how to buy from you? And do you have a way that people flow through your world? So, in tech lingo, that's like a funnel, like a way that they come to know you. And that's something that I just did in the past year is I rebuilt my funnel because I wanted to just have it be like so effortless and so easy and just so much more in alignment. So I started to really look at my different offers. And like I said, I was like swept up in the tide when I was creating all of these 20K programs and these courses. And I wanted to come back to the basics. So I'm not sure if that resonates, if that's ever happened to you, but coming back to the basics is really, really important. And maybe you'll decide to run ads. That's a part of marketing. It's not considered organic necessarily. But until you do, and even if you do, you need to understand how to sell your offerings. So, like one thing that I talk to my clients about is their best selling offers. So, once they know how to sell their best selling offers, then they know how to get that monthly recurring revenue. Can you give me a little heart or a little thumbs up if this is resonating? So, one of the keys, the most important things is that this offer has been proven and this offer has been validated. Now, every time that happens, I get crazily excited for myself or for my clients because I know that that's just the tip of the iceberg. That's just the beginning of growing something much bigger, is once that offer is validated. So those are my three strategy shifts. And I do think that they're like literally my top three that I would say. The best selling offers so that you have the monthly recurring revenue to stay in business. Stop following all the cookie cutter, but take the cookie cutter and think about how you can tailor it to you. That's really important. And the third one is this organic marketing, how you're showing up and how you're interacting and how people are flowing to you and also through your world and your programs. So now I want to shift into this is like for me, like I was going to say the really fun part, talking about the mindset because these shifts are more subtle, but I find them like just as important, if not like more important for the longevity and the sustainability and the profitability of your business. But I'd love to hear from you. Just like drop maybe a one, two, or a three based on which strategy shift are you like, whoa, that's really gonna make a big difference in my business. So I'd really like to hear if there's one that you found like more impactful than the others. Um, so let me know if you could just drop it in the chat here if you want. I'm looking at both chats. I have a lot going on my screen. Okay. So yes. Oh my gosh, I totally agree with you, Gunjani. So if you're in Facebook, she says, Gunjani says the actually a perfect blend that most of us need. I totally agree. And that's why I'm going to be completely honest and say that, you know, putting my business together over the past 5 years, I feel like I'm really hitting my alignment, hitting my stride, like even more now because I found that blend. And that's what I like those small group coaching containers for, is for finding the blend, or even the one-on-one coaching, which is super VIP, but finding that blend that really works for you is so important. And do people know how to buy from you? Yeah, that's huge. That's huge because I know a lot of people that they show up really well online, they're really visible, but then the next step is with that organic marketing, it's like, do they know how to take out, how to make a payment, basically, how to purchase from you. I had somebody, a former client actually just bought a painting of mine this morning, and that was like so cool. And it's because I put the call to action in my organic marketing. Had I not put the call to action, she would have been like, oh, that's beautiful. So that can oftentimes be the difference between, making profit or not making profit in your business. Okay, so the mindset shifts. This is like what I'm really, really excited to share with you. So number 4, it's a quantum principle. And inside Ascend, I went through 7 different quantum principles to help visionaries shift their business. But this one I find really, really powerful, and that is to cast um, a vision of certainty on your business. And one thing that I find that these kind of bigger one size fits all programs, they might make you think that being in business and having sustainable business is that you're going to have like a quick win, and you might get a quick win. But when we're after the quick wins, what happens, and this is what happened for me, is I started to lose that big picture. And I started to not see where it's going. So quick wins often lead to burnout. But when you let that go and you have a vision for the long term, then there's no more disappearing act. And the disappearing act is when you're burned out and you stop showing up, and then you start showing up. And then you stop showing up, and then you start showing up. And so this really relates to the visibility. So it's a symptom of being out of alignment. So sometimes we don't show up. There's so many different reasons. Sometimes we don't show up though. Oh yeah, Goonchme's over here now. Sometimes we don't show up because we are not in alignment with what we're doing. That's one reason we don't show up. Another reason that we don't show up is because we thought we were supposed to have a quick win in a 3 months time or in 90 days time, and then we didn't get it. So then we're like, okay, we're done. We're done with our business. We're packing up. We're closing the doors. But, as I'm looking back at being an entrepreneur for 10 years, and as I'm looking back when I started my signature workshop program, I knew that my goal was going to be to offer that workshop over and over and over and over again, 12 months out of the year for 2 years. Then I did it for 3 years. Then I started having people inbox me. Then I got in the Wall Street Journal for what I was doing. There's a lot of things that can start happening, and you can start to build momentum when there's certainty. And so when you start asking yourself this question, instead of what quick win can I get in 3 months, but you start asking yourself the question. You can write this down if you like to journal. I find this, like, I did this journaling exercise with my clients on the dream retreat. What do you want your life to look like in 3 years? What do you want your business to look like in 3 years? It's not 5 years, it's not super far away, but it's also not 3 months from now. Because of all of the successful clients that I've worked with, of all of the successful coaches that I've worked with, um, and my own success, I just got a story served to me this morning on Facebook that really cracked me up. And I'm going to just tell you what it was. It was 2 years ago, the end of 2021. We're going into 2022. And do you know what my story was talking about? It was talking about, what is your big vision for 2022? what are you manifesting? And what are you dreaming up right now? That was 2 years ago. And I have a course right now on intuitive manifesting. So I'm literally, and I just given a workshop 2 years ago called the Abundant Vision Workshop, and it was all digital vision boards. And I've continued to offer that workshop. I'm still talking about the same thing that I was talking about 2 years ago. So when you have a long vision in your business, then you know you're going to be around, you know you're going to be showing up, and you know exactly what you want to share, and you share it from your heart. So, and I know all of the women that I'm speaking to in this room do that and are aware of that, but I just want to keep encouraging you to just like really ground into that, because your inner knowing and your inner guidance is really leading you toward longevity in your business. Okay. Number 5 is a mindset thing. And there's 3 different kinds of mindsets. There's the fixed mindset, which is like it's very immutable and unchangeable. There's a growth mindset, which is like you're basically you're willing to grow, you're willing to learn, you're actively seeking learning. And then there's a third mindset, which is like this abundant mindset. And the abundant mindset is really key in business and in basically thriving in your business. So I started to cultivate this abundant mindset. And every no that happened to me, I used that no as information. It's literally just information about something. It's just feedback. And it could be feedback on where the client is at the moment, what they're interested in, the kind of support that they're interested in, or even feedback on my workshops, my courses, and my programs. So, um, so every no is literally just feedback. And the abundant mindset really says that everything is an opportunity. And I truly feel this. I feel that social media, and I was about to post this and share this the other day, but I'm like, they're going to think, what is she talking about? Social media is like our quantum field, and we can dial into these different possibilities that are in the field, and things will start coming to you like lightning. For example, I just landed a brand collaboration like 2 months ago after just thinking it. And then a brand collaboration literally fell on my lap through a social media post that someone else posted. And now I have my second one because I've already signed my first contract, and the same person's now come back to me with a second contract. So when we have this abundant mindset that, you know, things that we share are going to find the right people. They're going to find the right ears. The right people are going to show up in our world at the right moment, that it's all kind of happening for a reason. I never chase the no's. I focus on the possibilities and the potential. And when you start to see only possibilities, then it becomes easier to climb out of the hole when you're feeling like things aren't working for you, or it was supposed to happen a certain way and maybe it didn't. So by nature, I am a really flexible person. So it's a flexible mindset, which I guess would be the opposite of like a fixed mindset. And so that would be something that you cultivate, the abundant mindset, where you start to see limitless possibilities and you start to really lean into that. So having them drop in and having the possibilities and the potentialities manifest really becomes the norm. And you're like, oh yeah, that makes total sense that this happened this way, right? Because we're being guided basically by the no's, and also we're being given information by the yeses. So the yeses and the no's, which are like binary code, right? The ones and the zeros, the yeses and the nos, are just giving us feedback and information about where to go. And that's why I say building a soul-led business is a custom curated experience. It's something that is so creative and so beyond some of the structures and the masculine structures that we have. It definitely requires masculine structures, but it's something so beyond. So, number 6, the most important mindset shift that has helped me to grow a 6-figure abundant business is to let go and surrender to the yeses and the nos, because it literally doesn't matter who says yes and who says no. What really, really, truly matters is that you're showing up in your authenticity and you're sharing your gifts. And it's all information. So if you have something that is inspiring you, that's on your heart that you really want to do. An example of this for me was my manifestation journal that I launched in January of 2023. I suggest that you just go for it and you release the outcome. So, not to say that it doesn't matter who says yes and who says no, because my clients matter very much to me. But what I mean is, you want to release yourself from the expectation of the outcome. Because what happens is, when we have the energy of we're trying to get something from someone, then that's what generally happens is it kind of repels. And if you can hold things and hold programs and your courses and your creations very loosely and very lightly, then you'll find that things will just have a way of flowing to you. I saw this a lot with my private one-on-one art clients because I had so many and I was like running around all over the city. I wasn't like dying to have more because I didn't want to run around the city more, right? But the thing that happened was I kept getting more and more and more and more because, of course, I was passionate about what I was doing. I love sharing my gifts, and I wasn't attached to the outcome. So I was always in abundance. And this relates back to number 5, the abundant mindset. When we're always in abundance and we're not in scarcity, because maybe we're not over committing or over diluting our energy by running here and running there and doing all this and that and not being in alignment, then we can actually hold things a lot more abundantly. So never worry about the numbers, always worry about the intention behind the numbers. I know I talked about this with my intuitive manifesting group, but maybe you've been told that a certain number is like the number that you want to hit per month, but you haven't really checked in with yourself for the inner guidance of what number would feel really, really good to you. I had to look back at what I had achieved 5 years ago and how happy I was and how the abundance was really flowing through me. And I had to realize that being told that I should be making XYZ was actually quite constricting for me. It wasn't leading to expansion. And it wasn't even really in alignment because I already had the house in LA with the garden and all the things that I wanted. So getting back into alignment, realizing that it's not about the numbers, it's the intention beneath the numbers, so that you can start to let go and you can start to release, you can start to hold things much more gently and more expansively. So if it feels constricting, let it go. If it feels too tight, let it go. And if it's something that you really, really want it to happen, you also want to let it go. So manifestations are responding to your energy and your your magnetism is affected by attachment. So a level of detachment around the outcome is key. So when you're in the energy of giving and expansion, then people just sense that energy and they respond to it. So as we breathe into a little bit more expansion today, I'm going to share a couple of client case studies, which are just really fun. I had the little screenshots open. I didn't do sometimes for for my master classes, I do like a whole slide deck and I do all this stuff. And I just decided not to because I thought it would be more fun for me to just show up and you'd actually see my face instead of see my face up in some little tiny rectangle in the corner. So I thought we would get more out of that today. So I'm going to talk about how some of my soul-led clients are really creating their own recipes for success, what success looks like to them, and what they're manifesting, what they're creating, which is really, really amazing. So these are all shared with permission of my clients. So my client is a powerful healer. She offers intuitive readings, breath work, gentle yoga, and ceremony, and they are deep soul invitations to awaken. Since working together, she has developed and launched her signature workshop, which she's run now multiple times. She's building her audience through that workshop funnel. People are booking and paying her now in advance. She is selling a transformative 6-week high-level package, and she is leading her international retreat in 2024 in the US. And let me show you a couple more. I think these are just really fun and they make me so happy. So let's see, okay, got one more here for you. My client here is a successful photographer and an artist. She shifted from a lack of focus and strategy to motivation after our aligned abundance session together. In her words, it was such a help to have Hillary lend me her business brain in our session. Her suggestion motivated me to put an offer out that I'd been wavering about for weeks. It was a great success. I highly recommend working with Hillary if you're a creative struggling with the business side of your work. She then put out the new offer, which made her thousands. So she went from being in stuck mode of not deciding to really connected to her integrity, her inner guidance, and putting her offer out there into the world. We made it so unique and so potent that people signed up for it right away. She sold thousands. She made that her core offer. She now knows her bestseller, and she's in Bali right now having a lot of fun. So, and that was one of her intentions, is that she really wanted to be able to travel again. And she hadn't been able to because she'd been in stuck mode in her business. The last one that I'm going to share with you is, let's see. Okay. This one. Okay. Celebrating my client's success. My client is a visionary artist. Since we've been working together, she's done so many epic things. She's accepted new commissions of her work. She's launched a new course, which she's sold several of. She's been a guest presenter of her signature workshop at the Dream Retreat in Greece, and she's offering an international lifestyle retreat in Mexico in spring of 2024. She follows her inner guidance to manifest her dreams. So many amazing things happen when you start building this business from a place of certainty and also a place of really coming from your authenticity, especially if you are a visionary, a change maker, somebody that doesn't fit inside of the mold and doesn't like to do things necessarily 100% the cookie cutter way, or, following a really particular strategy. So that's what I came to share with you today. I'd love to hear what your biggest takeaway is. And then I'd also love to share with you that in January, so my mastermind it was a 7-week program. It included an 8th week of one-on-one coaching. So people got one-on-one access to me to work on their offer, to work on whatever they needed. And I'm going to be running it again in January. And I decided to make it a little longer because it's like the first quarter of the year. And so I feel like it's really, really perfect timing to start to really build out the soul business and to reach your next level expansion, and like whatever that means for you, because building a business requires customization It requires a unique approach. We didn't all get into business to have the same business as like the person sitting next to us. And there's a lot of like copy-based businesses going on. And it's not to say that we can't take amazing things away, but we have to be in our own integrity and our own authenticity as we build, because we want to build something that we're wildly in love with and that we're massively fulfilled by and that we're super, super passionate about, that we want to show up to every day, that we're not having the resistance around and not wanting to really show up with. So that is what I wanted to share with you. I'm going to go ahead and just see, what did you guys read? So I know, ooh, yes, quantum. Thank you, Angel. It's so nice to hear that. Nadia, yes. And then, oh, how do you do organic marketing? I wish I saw that question, Nadia, because there's so many different ways. I feel like I could give a 1 hour course on, maybe a 2 hour course, maybe an 8 week program on organic marketing, because there's so many nuanced approaches, but it just has to do with how you like to naturally show up and serve your people. And the strategies can be anything from video to posting to stories. So that's just like a really broad overview, but I hope it does answer the questions. And if you want information on Ascend, which is the 12-week program, I will be opening it. It's open now, but we won't start until the second, like mid-Jan, because people need to be solidly grounded into the new year. And that's when we're going to start building out your best quarter yet in your business. That was so much fun. And it'll be a pure combination of momentum, strategy, and alignment. That's funny, I said momentum. Strategy and alignment. You're going to get a lot of momentum from that. And we're going to do this based on 3 pillars, which are alignment, attraction. So if you asked about organic marketing, that's like 3 weeks in there, attraction and ascension. Going there with your next level offerings that are so different and so unique and so magnetic to you, because your energy is super aligned with what you're creating. So I thank you for hopping on and joining us here today. Please feel free to go into the group, into the chat, and drop more reflections and more takeaways if you have something that really resonated. And this was, I know I had a mastermind member here. This was a little bit of a tweak to what I gave in the mastermind, because I would get bored. I can never deliver the same training twice. So hopefully you got different nuggets and different information. And it's always good to have a repeat of things, because that's when the learning becomes permanent, when we hear it over and over again, and then we integrate it and we embody it and we've tried it and we've done it, and then we know where we're going next in our business. So it's so nice to have you. And I'll be checking in the comments later. And I hope you've enjoyed Expansion: 6 shifts that blew up my business without burnout. And I'll see you soon.